Hello and welcome back, Realty Pros, for another Thursday afternoon Realty Talk. We are excited always to join you. We're excited in the series that the training series that we're in. This week, we're continuing on with FSBOs, working with FSBOs. And this has been an intensive training. And so we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue in on that topic. And so I have a question. So let me just say to you all this, right? This is going to be and expected to be a very interactive training. Okay, so I would appreciate greatly participation. So and some individuals were sharing, prior to us beginning the recording. And if you need to, great, I would love it if you would reiterate what you've shared prior to the recording beginning. But so the question that I have for you, because we have been working with FSBOs, we looked at scripts for FSBOs. We even did some call sessions. We identified different sites where you are able to go in and find FSBOs, and those sites are free sites that you're able to go into. We went through the process of actually reaching out to them, whether it was via text, email, and or calling. And so with all of that we've done in preparation for the FSBOs, soon we're going to be going out and actually, we're setting appointments so that we can go out and actually speak to these individuals and share with them the advantages that they would have by allowing us to serve them in their real estate need, because we know that they do have a need. And so we're to the place now where we're getting to the place now where we're going to actually we're going to set the appointment and go out and speak with them. So with that being said, the question that I have for you right off the top is, I want you to talk about what has been done since last week. So last week, we went over scripts, and even in the evening training, the lead locomotive training, we did scripts. We actually called. So can someone take themselves off mute and share with us what you did since last week's training to move forward with your FSBOs? And if you like, I can call on you. Okay, so I'm not sure if she can take herself off mute. I'm assuming perhaps she cannot, but how about Dee? Are you able to take yourself off mute and share with us what you've done since last week's training?
Okay, so thank you for calling me. I managed to get my mouth unfull. And I wanted to, I did talk with two folks on Monday, and I've been talking with others since then, but on Monday we specifically were looking with for sale by owner folks. And we were able to go through with one. We did actually talk with one person who said that her property was just sold. So of course we just keep going. So we did that. And then we spoke with another person who was a former realtor. So he was doing well with his with his process. And of course, we then made contact with him and decided to keep him in our network. With the woman that we spoke with, she was happy that she had just sold her property. we wished her congratulations and asked her for referrals and asked her to keep us in mind. So we, it's good practice to talk to folks and figure out what you're going to do when you're not actually going to be able to stick to your script. But it was a good experience just to be able to go through it once and figure out that that's how that went.
Okay. Okay, so you kind of broke up at the end, but I think that we were able to get the bulk of what you were saying. Is two things that I heard when when you mentioned your experience from last week is practice. You said that you all got practice in it, so obviously the more you practice, then the more comfortable you become, and then you're able to then put yourself out there a little bit easier, and then also too, although those individuals that you spoke with did not yield you um, an appointment, you still were thinking beyond them and asking for referrals. So that was great. I like that idea, Dee. Is there anyone else who will take themselves off of mute and share what their experience what has been since last week, what you've done in regards to FISBO since last week? Okay. All right. So what I wanted to do is because last week, I think last Thursday evening's lead locomotive, that was a very powerful um, training session. And so what I wanted to do is I wanted to, because Cremon had actually, he had recorded some of the training and I wanted to share that with you all. I want you all to hear that training or a part of that training. And when Dee spoke about the actual, practice, um, when you practice, then, it becomes more second nature to you. You become more at ease when you are speaking with potential, whether it's for sale by owners or, just potential clients, whether it's a buyer's client or a seller client, you just feel more comfortable and more at ease. And so I wanted to share with you this recording and hopefully you all will be able to hear it. So please let me know if you can hear it. Okay.
Hello, Nita. Before you do that, can I say something?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to kind of set something up for you guys so that you kind of get the best of this, because having been there when she did this, I kind of want to give you a little background thing. Mrs. Porter was doing some calling. She was just going to call some people random. So this was it's like a cold call. Okay. So the thing that I want you to kind of listen for is this: because she knows the script so well and she had it already set up on what she wanted to say and how well she has, memorized and has made the script become a part of her. I just want you to listen to her voice inflection and how she just stayed level, okay, regardless of what the gentleman said. And also just how she came back and just what she did when he made some comments that he made, how she responded. So just kind of keep your ear out for that, because I think it will serve us all well to remember how even toned she stayed. That's all I want to say.
Okay, thank you, Cremon. Thank you so much. And so hopefully you guys will be able to hear it because I have the volume up as high as it can go. And if not, if we're unable to hear it, then I encourage everyone, because Karan did put this audio in the WhatsApp, and I encourage you all to listen to the audio.
Is it playing, Anita?
It is. You can't hear it?
No, but I can try to play it on my end if you'd like.
Okay, could you please?
Okay, give me a second.
Okay, so we will, yeah,
Ms. Lita,
yes.
I'm sorry. You might need to turn your computer audio on.
I think I have it on.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, let me stop sharing real quick and let's make sure. I know I'm fairly certain it is on. Kraman, you're on. Oh, okay. Now I just heard it, some part of it very clearly. I'm not sure why, because
Do you want me to try to do this? The volume's not loud, but we can see if people can hear it.
I can hear it.
You can hear mine?
Yes.
All right, well, I'm gonna try
I can't hear anything.
I'm gonna
Okay.
put it a little closer. I'm gonna turn my volume up. You can tell me if you can hear it, okay?
Okay. Angela, can you start it over again?
It's about to start.
Okay, well, I'm hearing something. I'm not sure why.
It started. That wasn't supposed to happen.
No.
You guys can hear it?
No. We but that's okay. So yeah, because I can hear it very clearly on my end when I'm playing it, and you can hear it very clearly on your end when you're playing it. But just as Kraman has said, well, first of all, I want to really encourage everyone to, and we'll repost it to the WhatsApp so that it can be, you can find it easier, but it's not that hard to find. But I would encourage you all to go and back and listen to that audio. And as Kraman had mentioned, because Miss Porter was so familiar with the script, she was able to share that script with ease. Now, the first time you do it, or the second time, or the third time, it may not be with that type of ease, but the only way that you're going to get to that comfort level that you'd like to be at is by doing the script. And so you can do that script with, your children, you could do the script with your husband, you could do the script, with just practicing the script. And then even once you're practicing the script with your, people that you're familiar with, the first time that you do it with someone else, you're probably still going to be a little bit apprehensive, but you just have to go ahead and, just do it. And I think that the more that you do it, the better it will be for you. Okay. So,
and Ms. Anita, if I can piggyback on that, when you're practicing the script, also practice people telling you no, your family, whoever it is. Have them, come back with you with all kinds of objections. Because what you want to do, besides being able to overcome the objections, you want to be able to be quick in it, where you don't have to stop and think, or you don't get, tongue-tied in regards to it. It's almost like an expectation. So if somebody says, well, listen, that sounds stupid, I don't want to do that, you want to be able to come back without saying, So when you're practicing the script and you're memorizing the script, you also want to practice the objections. Practice overcoming the objections. How fast? What do you say? What do you say if somebody says something crazy? How do you, respond? And how do you, instead of coming back, where we get into a back and forth type of thing, how you just say, you know what, and just move past it, like you almost didn't hear it. That's one of the things that Mrs. Porter did when she was on the call with the gentleman. He said something, and she just, she just moved past it like she didn't hear it, and she just kept talking. And when he even said something to the effect of, well, everything is, he just didn't want to, pay the money or whatever. She said, okay, well, tell me about that, and she made him kind of express why, because at first he was, and if you hear it, you probably know this. At first, he was simply trying to say that he could do it himself and what have you. But she, after listening to her, he really admitted that he didn't want to pay the money, which is usually what it's always is, right? So she really explained to him how she could do something for him that would be better, that would be less costly, and all of that. So my point is the fact that she was almost expecting him to say, an objection. No one is going to just say, oh, great, I was just sitting here just hoping that you call, right? So she was ready for it. That's my whole point. And it didn't throw her off her game plan. So if you practice that and you practice the objections and you practice all of the different aspects of it, nothing will throw you. And you'll be able to continue going, even to the point where people, say something really crazy. It won't, you can laugh it off and just keep moving. So that's all.
Right. I think that's a very good point, practicing the objectives, the objections. And Angela, you had your hand raised?
I did. I just want to piggyback on what Carmon said. I think it was some really good advice. And I don't know who else said, you can practice with family or whatever. I think it's great to practice with anyone, but after you practice with your friends or your family, grab you a real estate agent, grab a realty pro, and you guys can run the same scenario back with one another. So if it's me and Kerman and we're doing script practice, I can challenge him. After we challenge one another, we can talk it through and say, this is what we can do differently. And then he brings it right back. It could be the same conversation, but just practicing those responses over and over again is beneficial. And your family, even though they're great to practice with, finding another realty pro is going to challenge you for the obstacles that you're going to face. So start with your friends and family and then say, okay, I'm ready. Kerman seems to know quite a bit about this. He was there for the script practice. Call Kerman up or call myself up and say, hey, you want to spend 10 minutes, just 5 to 10 minutes a day practicing a conversation. Doesn't have to be a long time, but you would be amazed at how that will help you when you actually are in that position to talk to an actual prospect.
Very good. Yes, I like that idea as well, Angela, because when we practice with our family members, and so two great things, especially Kraman, when he mentioned practice, because the part that we're fearful about is being rejected, right? That's the part that we're fearful about, right? And so when we are doing the scripts, when we're practicing, and sometimes maybe when we're practicing with family members or friends or things like that, they might not necessarily, in an effort to encourage you, may not necessarily push back in a way that when you are speaking with these home buyers would. And so it's great that you practice the objections and know that, you really have to just know in your mind. And I think Ms. Porter had mentioned this last week, is that, they're not, they don't know you, so they're not objecting or they're not rejecting you. It's just they have something in their mind, and they feel as if though they can sell their own home. Okay. And so we know that the likelihood is very great that they won't be able to sell the home themselves, and that they'll have to eventually get an agent. And we talked about last week about, things that you could bring to, or in the past couple weeks, you know, things that you can bring when you go and speak to, once you get that appointment, you know. So we want to definitely practice the objections, and we want to practice them with each other, you know, because we all who are on this call right now, we know what the objective is, and we've been in the trainings, and so we might be better able to assist one another, to be able to mature and grow in this area of, you know, just speaking with those that perhaps speaking to a potential buyer and or seller anyway, but then speaking specifically to the FSBO seller. Okay. So now I wanted to also look at or talk about, so let me ask you this, let me ask the question. So I'm hoping that we had the opportunity to kind of look at the FSBO scripts, and I wanted to share this with you because the script that Mrs. Porter shared with the FSBO gentleman was basically the script that we have right here. Okay, and I got this script out of our library. I want to encourage us also, if you have not yet gone to the library, I want to encourage us to please go to the library, because we're able to find all the scripts that we need right there in the library. And you know, just so this is our base, right? This is what we have as a foundation for ourselves. Of course, you're going to add your own personality in this process. You're going to, you know, offer yourself, okay? But we have something that we can at least start with. I wanted someone to take themselves off mute, and just as we've looked at this script before, take yourself off mute and please read this script and insert yourself or your own personality into the script. Can someone do that, please?
I'll do it.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay. Hold on. Let me move this so I can see it. Give me a second. On my screen. Okay. So I'm calling. Oh, you want me to read the beginning or no?
No, you don't have. What are you talking about? The bold print?
Yeah.
No, you don't have to read that part.
Okay. Well, I'm calling about the home for sale. Is this Mr. Smith?
Yes, this is Mr. Smith. What do you need?
I'm a local real estate agent, and I noticed that you have your house for sale, and it looks like you're selling it by owner rights.
Yes, I am. I'm selling it. Do you have a buyer for me? You said you're from where again?
I said I'm a realtor. I'm with Porterhouse Realty Group, International Realty Group.
Okay. And so what, are you calling because you have a buyer for me?
I may, but let's see, I decided to give you back to the, I'm just reading this sellers in the area and I'm just calling to see. Okay, so that's my part. So wait a minute, you got me. Okay, I decided to get, okay, all right. So I may have a buyer for you, but what I really would like to do is if you would allow an opportunity for me to come and see your property.
Okay, so what, you want to bring a buyer with you? Is that what you're coming to see the property for, or?
Well, my intent is to bring a buyer after I see it, and that way I can make sure that I connect the right buyer that's looking for what you have. So I just don't want to bring any old body to your home. I want to make sure, one, that it's okay, two, that it meets the specification of my actual clients. And so that's what I'm really looking at.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
what, what is this, how is this going to be beneficial to you? I mean, how is this working out for you?
So, well, actually for me, it's helping me with my buyers that I'll bring them to you. So that would be a benefit to you as well as myself.
Okay. All right. So, but I'm not looking for an agent. I'm just looking for a buyer.
I totally agree. I totally understand. However, I just would love, if it would be all right with you, I would just love to see your home. I'm sure it's amazing. And I just want to understand it, you know, to look at it and make sure that it meets the specifications of several of my buyers. And that's why I was asking if it was okay to come by. And then we can talk further once I get there.
Okay, so, but I'm not going to hire you as my agent because I'm not paying a commission to an agent because I'm going to sell it myself.
I totally hear you. However, I just want to look at it. We can sit down and talk, and we can go over some of the things that you're looking for. And I can go over it and see if the specifications meet some of the requirements that my buyers are looking for. So let's try to make this a win-win situation.
Okay, well, you can come by tomorrow and take a look at it. I'll be here at 5 p.m. tomorrow.
Okay, so how does 5:30 sound?
That sounds fine.
Okay, awesome. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow at 5:30. Is there
Oh,
anything that you would like for me to bring to you for allowing me to see your home?
a buyer.
Awesome, awesome. All right, so we will discuss that further. And once I see your home and, you know, see the specifications, see if it meet my client's specifications, we can go from there. So I'm looking for this to be a great opportunity. And meanwhile, you have an amazing day and thank you for your time.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Gina. So I appreciate you going through that with us. Don't forget though, you know, because we've already identified and made clear the number one reason why a owner is trying to sell their property themselves is not because they think that that is going to be a fun process to sell them their house themselves, but it's because for whatever reason, whether it's they feel like, you know, they have to sell it themselves because perhaps if they pay a commission, they won't make any money from the sale of the property, or they've seen enough of the TV shows that show how you can sell your home yourself, or they just want to sell their home themselves and net the most money possible. You kind of want to also make sure you have that part of the conversation with them as well, you know, because that helps you to set up the, you know, or help them to begin to start thinking about, is this really worth it for myself? You know, because 9 times out of 10, it's not worth it for themselves. I mean, it's not worth the time that they spend trying to sell the house themselves. They are going to, you know, make themselves perhaps legally responsible in a way that, or expose themselves in a way that would not be good for them because perhaps they don't know everything that is needed as far as their documents and disclosures are concerned. And then they probably, the likelihood is great that they're not going to make the net proceeds that they would make if they would have used you as the expert. Okay.
Okay, so I was looking at this I'm sorry. I was looking at this to follow it. And when you said something different, I was like, well, wait a minute. Do I come in here? I said, well, maybe it's just something impromptu. I didn't realize that you wanted me to go through each one. Because when you said I'm not hiring a buyer, I mean, a realtor, I said, well, wait a minute. This say I decided to give you a quick call, but maybe I'm supposed to just, you know, so that's why I did that.
Right. Okay. Well, that's fine. You know, not a problem at all. Because again, you know, each situation will be different because you're speaking to, live individuals. And so everyone's personality is different, everyone's approach is different. And so, you just kind of will be able to, sense how you're going to move when you are speaking with a particular individual. Is there someone else who's going to say something?
Before I can say this, I got my grandbaby with me. She's burning up with fever. We had to pick her up today from daycare, so I might have to get off.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Hey, Ms. Anita?
Yes.
Okay. I just want to say one quick thing, and I think that she did very well, because one of the things that, you don't want to kind of give up when people throw something at you, and you want to kind of make sure that, you don't allow people to make you wonder if, you should just say, well, whatever you think is best or something of that nature. So here's the thing. What we're trying to do, from what Mrs. Porter had shared with me, is you're really simply trying to set an appointment to see them. So you really want to be kind of careful about how much information and how long you actually stay on the line with them. My thing is, I'm calling you because I saw that you were trying to sell your house yourself. I wanted to get, how's that going? I wanted to introduce myself because I'm an agent. I'm working in the area. I try to keep up with everything that's going on in the area. And I just wanted to share some information with you in regards to what we can provide you here at Porterhouse, and just to give you a different way of looking at it, or some different information. And so you're trying to get on the phone, get off the phone, and set the appointment to come out and see them, because the information that we have and what we provide, it's kind of difficult to really be able to get people to understand all of the benefits of it over the phone without really being able to be face to face, or being able to see exactly what it has, what we have to offer. You can kind of whet their appetite, you can share a little bit with them, but what you really want to do is find a time that I can come out, because, as I said, I'm a real estate agent. I have buyers who may be interested in your home, but I won't know that, and that's something that she was saying. I won't know that until I come out and see. So I just want to come out and meet with you, share some information with you, answer any questions you may have, and then you can take it from there. So what I realized with Mrs. Porter was how quickly she was on the phone and off the phone, without getting into a lot of things. Her main objective was to set the appointment. All of the other information they want to talk about, everything that they want to tell you about how they feel about it or why they're doing it. Yeah, I hear you. I understand. Let me come out. I can share some information with you. And the most that you can do that, get in and get out and set the appointment, the more successful I think we're going to be.
Great. Thank you, Kerman. That was great information also. So the main goal, obviously, is setting the appointment. We know that we have what they need to get their home sold, but in order for us to do that, we have to set the appointment. So that's the main objective. And as Kerman was saying, you don't want to spend, and you don't want to try to explain what you're going to be able to do over the phone conversation. You just want to, have them interested enough so that they will allow you to come over and check out the house. Okay. And then once you're there, then you're able to share with them the benefits that you are going to be able to provide to help them to get their home sold. I see there's two people who have their hands raised. You can take yourself off mute, please. I thought there were.
Yes, so I can, if Darlene's not going to go, one of the things that I had wanted to say when Gina was speaking was she had asked them if there was anything that she could bring. And one of the things that we had heard during our various meetings was trainings was that we should bring something to them that they're maybe not expecting, a CMA, a for sale by owner sign, maybe a brochure about their home that they may not have, you know, just to show them some things, some tools that they might be able to use if they're less of a sophisticated owner seller. So that was one of the things, that a gift, so that they wouldn't think that we're trying to move in on their territory, so to speak, but to also be aware that we want to be a resource for them and develop a relationship that may eventually lead to us working with them, and may lead to us working with them right away. But we don't want to get into, as Carmen was saying, a back and forth. We want to sort of slide in and be somebody that they trust, so that they'll work with us. So just wanted to share that insight.
Okay, great.
Well, that
Thank
was
you. Thank you, Dee, for that as well. So I think we all agree, you know, that we're not trying to sell them in that phone conversation, but we're just trying to build a relationship, or begin building the relationship, so that when we go out on the appointment, that we are able to share with them the benefits, again, of using us as their real estate professional. Okay.
Okay, Miss Nita, can I say one thing too?
Yes.
You want to be very careful asking people if you can bring them anything. First of all, because people can, once you ask a question, you got to be ready for an answer. And people can answer and tell you a lot of different things. And that can really throw you off. You know, somebody can say, yeah, well, bring me a fifth of Jack or whatever. So you want to be very careful asking people, the better way to do it, just bring it. Because people sometimes think that you're trying to buy your way in, or you're trying to do this, or they think it's going to be a quid pro quo or something of that nature. And you never know who you're talking to, whether they know maybe the law that you're not supposed to really do certain things. So you want to be very careful about asking people. Then just bring it and have it as a surprise. I just wanted to bring this CMA because I wanted you to know what the prices in your neighborhood, home, something that will be, oh, that was really nice of you. That was really thoughtful of you. So you want to make sure that you under promise and over deliver type of thing. So they weren't thinking it.
So you're kind of breaking up, Kraman. But I think that, thank you. You're kind of, so I'll recap, I believe what you are trying to share with us is that we want to be very careful about asking an individual, or for anyone, I guess, if we could bring them something, because by doing that, you kind of open yourself up for whatever it is that they are asking for. So we want to make sure, as he said, we want to under promise and over deliver. So absolutely, it's a great idea to bring something when you are going out to visit, but it doesn't have to be their expectation that you're bringing something, because really probably what their expectation is that you're coming in, you're trying to sell them something. And so it kind of helps to, from the offset, ease the environment or the atmosphere when you come in with, perhaps, as we've mentioned before, a for sale by owner sign. It kind of helps to ease the what could possibly be tension. Okay, because then their first thought isn't maybe, oh, well, maybe they're not trying to sell me something, maybe they're not trying to get me to list my house with them. And so, and then as you are going throughout the property and you are touring the property and you're complimenting them on the property, then that is further giving you a little bit more of a relaxed atmosphere that you can then share with them what you are going to be able to do and what we have available at Porterhouse to be able to get their homes sold for them. And I just wanted to, because we are running out of time, I was going to go through some of the objections. And I guess we can go through at least one of the objections that, because we know this, everyone is talking about this objection. And we can go through this, and then I can have you all share with me perhaps what you can, what your response would be to this objection, because you know, sometimes the objection is obvious from the very beginning, and then sometimes it's not so obvious. Sometimes you know, they'll say something that perhaps is not really the objection, but that's what they want to give you at that moment, because they're not prepared yet to share with you what their real objection is. But some, you know, they'll just say from the onset, what if they said to you, will you reduce your commission? What would be your response to them? Can someone take themselves off mute and perhaps share with us, what is your response if someone asks you, will you reduce your commission? And, or else I could perhaps call on someone to share with me or share with us. How about, let's see, who do we have on the line with this? How about Aurelia? Are you able to take yourself off mute and share with us if you had the seller who said to you, well, will you reduce your commission?
You said if a seller said to me, would I reduce my commission? I would
Yes.
say we're full price brokerage. So 100% brokerage, and we don't reduce our commission.
Okay.
I don't know if that.
Okay. So we're speaking to
I mean,
FSBOs.
that it, then you're talking about FSBOs, but we don't. We are 100% brokerage, right? We don't reduce our commission. So
Right.
how, it would be interesting to know how to, if someone said that.
So
Right.
my thought would be, this is Dee, my thought would be that we would talk about the different levels of service that we offer, the you know, the bronze level, the silver level, and the gold level, so that they
Okay.
would understand that there are different ways that we could work with them. And so we might want to work with them with the My House Porter so that we still get our commission. They don't pay anymore. They pay about 0.5% more than they would be paying if they had to pay, because they're going to have to pay the broker, the buyer's list agent. If the buyer comes with an agent, they're going to have to pay them. If they decide that they're not working with a buyer who has an agent, then that's a different thing. And maybe that would be one of the things that we would back off of. I'm not sure how we would handle that. But generally speaking, they're going to be working with a buyer who has an agent. And so therefore we could explain our different levels and then work with them with My House Porter, or if they're willing to do our regular level of service because of what we're explaining to them that we're going to get for them with that service, then we have our commission. So we sort of like Kerman was saying, we sort of like move around those things so that we're not going head to head with them with the like, no, I'm not going to reduce my commission. But, you know, explain how we do things that will get them what they're looking for. So that's what we want to always do. Get them to understand that we can get them what they're looking for and more, and they can still, and it includes us getting paid so that we can do that for them. So we can
Thank
get
you,
around.
Dee. That was very good. Of course, we would have to have knowledge of those different levels before going out there to talk, to kind of be knowledgeable of what we can offer outside of the 100% broker's fee.
Right. Come on, you were going to say something?
And I don't know if you guys can hear me because I'm driving, but I would just recommend that you guys really listen to Mrs. Porter when she did that presentation, because one of the things that you really don't want to do, and that I realized from listening to her and from speaking with her, is when people ask you a question like that, we don't have to answer every question that a person asks. You really want to defer a lot of these questions, because you can't get into that conversation over the phone. That's a conversation you want to have when you've made the appointment and you're sitting across from a person, because now you can show them, like Dee was saying, all the different packages, what we can do. They can see it. When you're on the phone and someone asks you, are you going to reduce your commission? What they're trying to do is they're trying to take control of the conversation, because they're asking you a yes or no question. So if you say, well, no, we're not going to reduce our commission, well, I don't want to deal with you. So instead of answering the question, you defer the question by saying, well, I understand. We use a thing called feel, felt, found. And feel, felt, found is simply, it's very quick, and y'all may have heard this. You simply say, well, I understand exactly what you're saying. And it's amazing that you say that, because a lot of the for sale by owner clients that I've talked to, they have felt that same way. But what they found after we shared some of the information, the things that we can assist you with, that it's really, they end up spending less money in commissions and overall than they normally did. You want to say somewhere like that, folks, because just a yes or no, we don't drop our commissions or whatever, that's not something for the phone. Now, when you get into the house in front of them and they keep pushing that, then you can say, this is the reason why we charge what we charge, because I'm showing you our gold package and I'm showing you our platinum package and all of that. So now you have the ammunition to be able to explain why you're doing and charging what you're charging, okay? Because remember, all they're thinking about is, you're trying to charge me 6%. I don't need to pay that. I can do this myself. One of the things that Mrs. Porter shared with them was, well, I understand that you're willing to pay a buyer's commission or finder's fee for bringing a person to you, correct? They said yes. She said, so what if I told you that you can pay that same thing, not have to pay me a commission at all, pay that same finder's fee and save yourself the same amount of money that you wanted to save by doing it yourself? That would be a good thing. I think you'd be in favor of that. Am I right? And then they can tell you yes or no, something of that. But we've softened it. We didn't get into a back and forth. We're not answering a yes or no question, so we can keep the conversation going. Because again, all we're trying to do is set the appointment to get into the house. So I think if we can do that, and remember, you don't have to answer. And you can always tell people, you know what, that's an excellent question. And that's exactly one of the things I wanted to come by and share with you. That's exactly one of the reasons why I wanted to come by and talk with you, because these are some questions that you must ask. And you're very wise to be asking those questions, because it just depends a lot of times on the circumstances and your particular situation. So you make them feel special. You make them feel like it's not cookie cutter. You make them feel as though they've asked you a very, very smart question. And I have the answer, but I want to share the answer when we sit down together.
Well,
Hopefully
there
that
you
will
go.
help.
Yes, there you go, Cremon. And so, yeah, Cremon, I mean, why are you not, you should have been doing this realty talk today. Very good.
Thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, because it does,
you do wonderful. I could never do what you do.
No, it goes back to you setting the appointment, right? So you're not answering you don't want to get into a deep discussion at that point. And also too, when you acknowledge, that they have a question, you can just kind of, you can acknowledge that question, but then you can also let them know, set the expectation that I'm going to answer all those questions for you when I come out, okay? Because again, the goal is to set the appointment, right? And so you don't want to necessarily, and like Cremon has said, we want the conversation to be, brief on the phone. We don't want to waste their time. but we want to have an appointment, and we want to be able to take all that information that we have, because there's several ways that we know that we have that we can get their house sold. We don't have just one approach for selling the home. We have the My House Porter. We have the different packages that we're able to offer them as well. So we want to make sure that we acknowledge, their concern, and then make sure that we let them know that we're going to share all of that information with them when we see them, when we get together with them, and then just confirm your appointment time, because if at that point they have still not, go back to, okay, so I'm available on Tuesday and Wednesday at 5, which time works best for you? And so we're still setting the appointment at that time. So thank you so much, Cremon, for that input. Thank you for everyone else who had input. I appreciate you all being here. We are at 1:35. And so I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to stop the recording.